Welcome to Silicon Valley Unplugged. AI governance is no longer just a policy discussion. AI is already inside real companies, shaping hiring, customer service, product development, operations, legal workflows, and leadership decisions. The question is, how do companies move fast with AI without losing control, trust, or human judgment? Tonight, we're honored to welcome Tanya Long, an investor, operator, and strategist working at the intersection of AI transformation, governance, and leadership. We'll discuss what responsible AI integration looks like in practice, what leaders often underestimate, and how companies can build with AI without breaking trust. Please welcome Tanya Long.
Hi, John.
Welcome, Tanya.
It's wonderful to be here.
Yes. So you have a very interesting career, and we want to hear what that is and how inspiring that can be for our founders who are the majority of our audience and viewers.
Well, my career started when I was born in Tennessee and grew up on a tobacco farm, and that's a large part of who I am because I learned to be resourceful and I learned to work with all kinds of different people to get things done. And that led to a 25-year career in tech where I did things like open countries, Dalian in China, and I opened Ireland as well for a company. I put 400 products into market, and I did 20 M&As. And the common thread through all of those things is people, and helping people move past fear, move past uncertainty, and do a lot of change management. And so right now, with the era of AI, change management really is the name of the game. Things are changing much faster than we're ready for. And with that, we need people who've been through uncomfortable times, delivered tough news. That's me. I'm the tough news, tough love queen. But we need people to help other people see a path through to what's new, because what's coming is going to be new for all of us.
Right. AI is really changing the entire landscape of from human resources to industries to even product creation. Just about everywhere it's making its way in. And based on your experiences, what do you need to do to survive this wave of AI coming into every industry?
I think you need to be curious. I think you need to get past long-held beliefs of what you can and can't do. Because with AI, I think that people are going to be able to do remarkable things that use the information that they have from a 40-year career and pull that forward into building things for the future. AI, just like I'm enabled because I grew up on a tobacco farm, and people didn't often get out of those environments. I think AI is going to take people out of their rut, and maybe it's a good life, but what they've been doing will be very different in 5 or 7 years. And so I think AI is going to enable that. Anybody can write code now. If you understand a process, if you can think about how to do something better, AI can build it for you. So you don't need to be an engineer to build technical products. AI is going to give us a better life, a longer life, and I look forward to everyone being able to grow in new ways and get excited about it.
Can you tell us about what is it that you're building? Because apparently that is something that we need to counter this AI change, isn't it?
Well, I think I'm a builder way back, and you recognize it, I think, as you reach a certain age. But Daymaker Connect is one of my ventures where we are building a product that will release in the next 2 to 3 weeks that connects communities. A lot of people who have connections, whether those connections are in social media or on LinkedIn, they have a lot of connections, and they don't really understand the entire portfolio of connections they have. I mean, I could ask you, how many Instagram connections do you have?
I have over maybe a few thousand.
Yeah.
The
But you
people
don't
that
know those people.
I don't.
Right?
And my LinkedIn, I cannot even remember who are
Yeah.
those people.
I have like 11,000 on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's difficult.
We've built a product that helps people understand what's in their network. And that product, if you were going to an event, it would basically take that events list and tell you who you need to connect with based on who's there, whether they're in your network or not, and based on your goals that you've put into the system, it would advise 4 to 6 people that you should meet and give you conversation starters. Now, I don't think you're shy, so I don't think you have any problem with that. But a ton of people spend a lot of time going to events, whether it's church or a conference or these technical founder meetups that I'm at all week, and they don't have a plan when they go. And do you work out?
I do
Say yes.
sometimes
Just say
only.
yes.
Yes, even
Just
though
say yes.
okay, I do.
Well, the thing is, when you work out, most people wear a heart rate monitor. They wear a Fitbit because they want to. You're not there just to stroll. You're there to make your heart move faster. Well, we don't have the same kinds of tools when we network. And we spend a ton of time with a lot of people, and we want to give them the tools, just like a Fitbit for connection, to help them understand when they go into an event, I'm looking for these 5 people because these people that I've not yet met, that I may not even know, they all are doing something related to what my priorities are, to what my goals are. And so we've built that, and it's called Daymaker Connect.
That sounds just like a product I need because,
Fantastic.
at the end of this, a lot of people are making connections, and a lot of big wig in tech, they said, in order to counter AI, really physical presence, connections, social, that is never going to be replaced by AI. But so then you suddenly have all these people that you need to connect, but being able to kind of focus on who you really need to, that really is a booster
It
for that
is.
social process. That's a great product
It
to
is.
have.
Do you have kids?
Yes, and then if they use that product, it probably screw me out though.
I,
So that'd be a problem.
but I see, like, I was trying to make it about, I see young girls, and I'm not picking on girls, but I see young girls at events, and they all stand together in their little huddles. They stand with who they know. We never get over that because I go to events now with 30 and 40-year olds and more, and they're still huddled with the people they know. And that's not why you went. That's not actually what you're there spending time away from home
Right.
so that you can grow yourself. So
That's
that
right.
whatever you're working on, you're it's with a hope and a prayer that you will meet somebody that can contribute to that. Our tool will have you looking for, and I've got my phone in my hand like this, but we'll have you looking for specific people so that you can talk to them. And if you're a little shy, we've given you 3 or 4 conversation starters to make that initial connection.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a icebreaker tech product for that.
It is. It is.
Interesting. And then not only that, you are basically bringing linking type of business portion into your product as well, and that's very useful product. How about Daymaker Venture? What is that part that does for you?
One of the natural progressions for me of tech executives is as we kind of move out of the formal business of enterprise level tech, we coach, we advise, we help founders, and we start investing. And so that's the path I've been on. A lot of my friends are on that same path, and we start with private investing, then we get involved in funds if we enjoy this. And for some of us, we decide to start funds. What I'm doing differently with my co-GP Ronak Shah is we are we are we believe we both have deep tech experience, and in this particular geography here in the Bay Area, nearly everyone has a concept of what's happening in technology, the things that they follow, that they're interested in, and people don't want to hand over money to a regular fund and just hope that it gets invested well. They want to make choices. Right. So Ronak and I are very involved with founder networks, and we're pulling forward the most innovative founders. I'll give you an example of 1 or 2 if you want. We are pulling those people forward and putting them in front of our syndicate. It's not a fund where people give money up front. It's a fund where really smart tech people who don't have time to study and do due diligence and look for these founders, we present the founders to them, and then they decide on a deal by deal basis if they want to invest. And it also creates strategic capital focus because people get excited about and feel some level of closeness to the founders they chose, then they can help those people on their journey. We focus on pre-seed and seed. So we're talking about the earliest stages of founders. And I will tell you, we have as much gray hair in our portfolio as we do fresh out of college people.
That's amazing. So basically, you the venture side is you're doing exactly what the app does, which is filtering out the right people
Oh, that's
for
smart.
your
Thank
LP.
you.
So that's an interesting linkage there. So we do want to hear some of the startup founders that you are backing. Can you share some of that to us?
One has created these amazing glasses, the meta glasses that you see out there. In the newest version, the screen actually activates. And so this is a company that we're still in conversations with, but it's called glasses.ai. And, and they have created a small language model, an SLM, that feeds those glasses information based on what the glasses are seeing. All right. I actually used them the other day. I had something that was physical on me that was visible. It wasn't like listening to a heart, but the one of the co-founders looked in his glasses and looked at this place that's on my leg, and it gave the diagnosis that the doctors at Stanford had given. It was amazing, and then talked about treatment protocols. Now, you might say, well, I can do that with ChatGPT, but we're talking about sending this into communities. One of their early projects that they're working on is with the government of India, because India has a lot of much smaller density areas where there might not be a doctor. There might be a pharmacist that compounds medications, or just other people that would be oriented toward physical health, but wouldn't be doctors. But with those glasses, it gives them a much more of an edge up. So the government of India is actually considering this kind of product for broader distribution, so that they can help enable better health amongst the entire population, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, it's great because AI now is going from central server down to the edge side, the edge product, where AI now living different instruments and products at the peripheral edge, and that really helping a lot of disadvantaged people,
Yes.
people lack resources, but now it's cheap. And it can do things that can never be done before. That's amazing stuff. So, what other things you think is gonna transform our future? And then
I think something.
we're
Yeah.
not talking about 100 years from now. We're talking
Oh,
maybe next couple of years.
we're talking. It's happening now.
Yes, yes. What are you seeing out there?
So I wrote a book on AI about 4.5 years ago when ChatGPT first became mainstream, consumer grade AI. AI has truly been around since the 40s, has been growing, but I think my kinfolk in Tennessee, they don't know that. They know that ChatGPT changed their life. But when I wrote my book, the whole concept was really AI is going to change all of our lives because it's going to make us more accessible to each other. You see, when AI first came out, people were terrified, and they just had this sense of foreboding that AI was going to change us for the worse. But I think it's changing us for the better because it is democratizing everything. A 60-year-old can now code that's never coded before. People can now communicate with people who speak other languages. And the translations that will occur in voice, by the way, is so flawless that it's like it's like a human it is a human conversation, but AI is enabling someone to speak two different languages and still have that connection. So the things that AI will bring us, I think, are going to ultimately change us as a society because it's going to bring more of the goodness, more of the what's unique and special about us, and help us connect that in ways that either socially, the demographics of location, of the circles that you travel in, that's all changing. And I think AI will democratize how we're able to see each other.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give you another example is we run a film festival called Human versus AI Film Festival. So half the films are done traditionally, the other half are done by AI.
Right.
And what we found from last
monkey
year
with
is
its
that
tongue out
a lot of
proudly
third
explores
world
the
countries are
philosophical
submitting
tension
these
between
films done by
observer and
AI
observed,
that
blurring lines between human and
could
animal,
not be done
freedom and
by
control,
unless they have a
past and
Hollywood that can
future.
spend
The
hundreds of
narrator's
million
poetic
dollars, they could not done that
reflections,
kind
film
of
touches
movies.
upon
But then
power,
now all these
surveillance,
different countries
and the
are making
fragility
that
of
level of
which
quality
expresses
of movies and
humanity
submitting
through
it
active
to us.
thinking
So
and questioning
AI
what
is
it
really
means to be seen.
changing it's leveling out, and
It
it's
is.
making the world really flat now.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be flatter
Yeah.
from this point on.
And everybody can do it. And you can start. I've been coaching people for 5 years. Play. Start with play. On my birthday was a couple of weeks ago, and one of my co-founders sent me a birthday card of me standing over a cake, singing "Happy Birthday" to myself. It was my voice. It was really kind of scary. And he took my LinkedIn profile picture and a couple of different pieces,
Wow.
and literally he said it took 10-15 minutes.
That's
But
right. That's
but
right.
it was really weird to look at myself singing "Happy Birthday" to myself. And before that, I wrote people poems. I would have ChatGPT write a poem about somebody's birthday, and I would throw in some details I knew about them, and then I would send them that poem. This was during COVID, and people were just so enamored with this whole like view of their life and what they're working on and what they're doing. And it was funny and it was clever. It only took me a minute. It took a minute of thoughtfulness, but it took a minute. And the more we play, the more we will know how to do more and take steps forward.
For sure. This is like in the 1980s era when PC came out. If you don't play that,
Now, you weren't
think
around in
about
the 80s.
I
when-
was.
You were-
I
What was your first
was.
computer?
My first computer was Apple II.
My first computer was a VIC 20 because I was a poor kid from on a Tennessee
Wow.
farm. A VIC 20, and I cried because
Well,
it
I don't
wasn't
even know
a
what
Commodore
VIC 20
64.
is.
I basically, what is it? Mavis Beacon typing was the only application I ever remember. My brother would steal it and play Pong or Tank, or I think it was called Tank then. And I was learning. My mother was insistent that I learn how to type, not just hunt and peck, but type appropriately. So my first one was a VIC 20, but then I've been an Apple follower pretty much ever since.
Right. And at that time, if you didn't try to use that, can you imagine if you don't know how to use a computer today? It'd be very, very difficult.
Well, they're saying now, I heard this stat this week that the average 12-month-old knows how to navigate. So a baby, like a 1-year-old baby, understands instinctively because it has seen mom and dad and older brothers and sisters swiping and moving things around. And you can put an iPad in front of a 12-month-old. They won't really know what they're doing. They can't yet discern icons, but they will move things around
They
and do
that.
things.
I've seen a
just where we're
toddler
going.
looking at a book or phone book and they go like this, It's like, that's a physical book. That's
Yep.
not an iPad or anything like that. But people do try and do that. But like this wave of AI, is it plateauing? Are you seeing it plateau out, or is it going up exponentially? Or it's actually getting slowing down now
I
because
think we're just starting.
just starting with
I think
looking
we're
at the
just
edge,
starting.
right?
Yeah, I do. There are some regulatory things that are being cleared so that we can do more with AI. And I'm specifically talking about in the medical communities. Because, those of us who live in the U.S. know that FDA approval can keep things from hitting mainstream for years. That technology
Decades,
can be
too.
available to us for years. We've got to clear some of those hurdles, and we're seeing more people clear those hurdles. Peter Diamandis is someone I've never met, but he's a futurist. He has millions and millions of followers, and he wrote maybe a month or two ago that he's projecting within 5 years. I think that's a little aggressive, but he says within 5 years we will have solved for most medical issues.
Wow.
So we will. Imagine the stretch of medical things that we all know that are just terrible and pretty much untreatable. And he says within 5 years, AI will have solved for all of those. Now, that's good in itself. People who've had loved ones die of Lou Gehrig's, those things. When those are gone, then, gosh, so many of us are going to live longer.
right.
Will we live better?
Right.
So what I see, it's not beyond AI, but it's as AI creates these shifts in the world, we're going to all have to start looking to what purpose is.
That's
right?
right. Because it's almost like you solve every problems. Then what's the purpose of life anymore? If you like look at all the researchers now, they got nothing to research on because everything's being solved. And I think that timeline actually may be correct because I think Jensen Huang, the media is trying to build digital twin of human. Basically, they can simulate everything going on in your human body. He said in 2 years they can do that.
So I have a
Can you
good
imagine
story
that?
along that front. Deepak Chopra, it was 7 or 8 years ago, that he, my personal opinion is he has deep ties with Sam Altman. 7 years ago, and he was talking about what was coming with AI. Now, 7 years ago, ChatGPT was in existence, but it was not consumer grade yet.
Right.
And said, I want to show you something. And then he produced a hologram of himself. That was still rudimentary. It was still, more line drawing than photographic level image. Produced a hologram of himself, and he talked to the hologram about himself. In a conversation. And then it didn't go on for long, but he stopped and said to the audience, I had this built because I want my grandchildren who are not yet born to know
To
me.
be able to talk
to be
to you.
able to
Yes,
talk to their
yes.
papa.
Right.
And he recognizes that human life is not limitless, but he could be limitless with his vast body of work,
Right.
of information, of thoughts, that he could put all that into a holographic
chatbot,
image, and his
yes.
grandchildren's grandchildren
Wow.
will be able to say, Papa, what was it like when you were here?
Yeah.
And I love that story. That was 7 years ago, maybe
Think
longer
about
now.
that. 7 years ago, they were doing that
And
already. Today,
I don't know about you, but I've built a second brain. My master's degree is in public policy, but I've managed engineers all my life, so I'm comfortable with technology. But I don't actually do the coding. But now it's available to us. I don't have a hologram, God forbid.
Yeah.
But I have a second brain that I've created that has all my writings, all my emails, all my LinkedIn posts,
That's right. That's right.
and I can tap into that to say, what would I say about this policy change? Based on my previous writings, what do you think my position would be on X?
It'll be pretty accurate too. It'll be.
It will be me, because it will
Yes.
take the synthesis. I've been writing for 15, 20 years, right? And so and I didn't have to organize a whole life to do that. I was able to just point it at a few different spaces and say, go suck all the data out of that. And now I don't have Deepak's hologram, but I have something that actually represents me. And I did it at home without any consultants. I didn't have to pay a big company a bunch of money. Everybody can do that. So if you want your grandchildren to be able to have conversations with you, that's available to you.
Right. And I think you can generate a hologram now. There's actually apps
You
out there
can.
that do that very easily now.
There's a company called HeyGen that actually would
that.
take an image of me, and then I feed in stuff to HeyGen, and it will be a screen image of me talking. I blink, I nod, I tilt my head, and then I'm like, do I really do those things? 'Cause I'm like, this is a little, it's a little Cupid doll kind of, but it's passable.
Yeah.
And anything I deliver that has been created by AI, I am very clear to say, this is AI Tanya, or this is my AI podcast team. I have my thought leadership work on Beyond Work. I have the Notebook LM podcast team take my written pieces and turn them into a two-way conversation. Their insights are remarkable, but I always am clear this is delivered by AI. But I think what that means is all of us can do it, because you're looking at a $20 subscription fee every month. You're not looking at the things that are super complex, they're complicated, but anybody with patience can learn how to do it.
Yeah. My mother, 80s, she's now using ChatGPT to solve all the problems. She used to bother me every 20 minutes, like, what is this? What is that? What is this? And then now she goes and check with ChatGPT, much better than I am, more patient too. So
How wonderful is that?
yes.
Yeah.
And like earlier we were talking about medical. You can talk to ChatGPT, although they advise you that's not, you still
Of
need to talk to a
course.
doctor. But the ChatGPT is so patient. When you go see a doctor, if they give you 15 minutes, that's a lot of time. But you can speak to a AI, doctor for hours and hours and hours and get to the bottom of it.
And you should. I fed all my Stanford blood test. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I'm very open about it. Okay. And I fed all my blood work in for 10 years. So now when I get blood work, I feed it in and I say, what's going on with me? And then when I go see the doctor, I present them with my findings. Because we don't need to waste time with, knocking on the knee and listening to the heart.
Right.
We need to get right to, Claude. I call her Claudette. Claude tells me these, here's all that's right, but these three things are on the move, and you need to get to the bottom of this.
I'm sure he'll tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that. You can turn that off, though.
And doctors have been remarkable about getting down to the root of the problem instead of, because also we go in, you go into the doctor's office and you're a little nervous. We all are. Yeah. And then we start running our mouths because we're nervous. And if we can hand them something that synthesizes, because they only have 15 minutes, right? And so, and push it across the desk. The first time I ever did it, the doctor said, "How did you do this?" And now it's pretty clearly understood, but it helps things. Another thing that a different angle to this medical thing, we're finding that people will say more, they will disclose more to a device. So we're so accustomed to our phones. As a type 1 diabetic, like my endocrinologist will look at my blood work and she'll say, "You spiked last Tuesday with your blood sugars. What did you eat for breakfast?" And I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, much less last Tuesday. But people will respond to their phones. I feel judged. I've known my endocrinologist for 13 years, and if she's picking on my blood work from last Tuesday, it was a tough day, whatever, leave me alone. Yes. But if my phone is doing that, and a phone will do it more in real time. I see my endocrinologist once a quarter. So if my phone will in real time say, "You spiked this morning, so whatever you had for breakfast, tomorrow morning might want to adjust for that." Then
Think
I'll
about
talk
that
to a
resolution
phone.
now. It's day by day is analyzing it for you right away.
The technology is not judging me like people are. We perceive people are judging us. Even if we rationalize that she sees 100 patients a week, she could care less. She's just getting through the numbers. But it feels personal. And so our devices allow us to open up.
That's
because
right.
There
I
are
think
some
they've done study
remarkable
on that for confession booth versus a confession to your iPhone. To the iPhone, they say a lot more than to the confession booth. Something like that. It was a study done on that too. So
it's dangerous words, but it's an extension of us. Right? It is. And we don't feel judged. We feel like there's a check-in based on the things that it knows about us, and people feel less threatened by that.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, in one way, people are scared of technology, but what you're saying is that people are not scared of technology because they tell them whatever that they need to. Although, what do you think about data privacy? Doesn't that become an issue as we come together?
You had to ask the data privacy
question.
Okay, this is my truth. My truth is that privacy died 10 or 12 years ago. That's my truth.
No more.
People get very excitable and agitated, frankly, because they're protecting their privacy.
But the question is, why are you worried about that? What is it that people care about their privacy? What is that? Is it a sense of security? What is it though? Because I'm not afraid of privacy because people know about me, so I just go.
I think
so
a lot
put you in the
I think
trap. That's a trap.
No. I just want to think about how to say it. Because I think a lot of people think of the worst possible things that can happen. It's their nature as a human being to think about the risks.
Right. That's why we buy insurance, by the way. So
we're trying to outrun the tiger that's chasing us. Caveman days.
Yes.
In caveman days, it was that everything to protect ourselves, the fight or flight emotions that come up. But I think people are afraid with privacy that someone will find out something they don't want them to know, or that it would be used against them. This is not a show that talks about politics, but I think there is a general distrust in government, not based on who's in office, but based on the more technology we have, the more government knows about us. I think people are careful about that. So I think people have their own reasons for being privacy focused, but most of it is they're just scared. They're scared of what will happen. And I have 5 Alexas in my 1,100 square foot condo. Because I'm everywhere.
They're listening to you.
Even in the bathroom, there's a little wall mounted Alexa because I want to be able to say when I'm putting my makeup on in the morning, I want to be able to say, "What's the weather report today?" or add something to a task list or whatever. So I released myself from worrying about privacy 5 years ago. If you've ever paid attention as you walk through SFO, you will know that public privacy doesn't exist
That
either
doesn't
because there are
exist either.
sensors that we don't even understand that are
Right,
all over
right.
that airport, and they protect us.
That's right. That's right.
So there's good and bad to
It's good and
everything,
bad. That's
but
for sure.
but I think having that knowledge available for people who use it the right way we will know more about how people interact, how they communicate, how they and how they can interact with people. All right, you want to see a trick? It's not a trick. You want to see a new device?
Of course I
It's a
do.
necklace.
I
I'll
saw
show
that
you.
there's
'Cause
something under your
I'll
shirt. I was
play
trying
into
to
the
figure out
story.
what that is.
Is it the light on?
It's something
So this is
blue.
called an OMI. It's been around for about a year and a half, I think. The blue. So this records conversation. It comes on and off and on and off throughout your day. But it's developing a profile of who you interact with. It keeps my task
Interesting.
list. It feeds me back a to-do list of what to do when. That's all very handy. But the most important thing for me is it's connecting me to my voice with other people. It's coaching me when, hey, when you talk to Sam Smith, you were agitated. So either spend less time with Sam or get a grip on why you are behaving defensively on the topic, and to have that kind of coaching available to you in a non-judgmental way, right?
I need one of that. Actually, I probably need 3 around
know-
here.
This is the developer version, so it is just, as we say in the South, it's butt ugly. But they have like a
That's
wrist
very
version.
interesting. That's an interesting product. So it
And it's all in how
monitors.
you use it. Some people would say, "Oh, she recorded my conversation at the water fountain," and I'm like, "No, this is about trends. I could care less what you said to me at the water fountain. I could care less what the guy at Whole Foods said to me. But this is able to track trends over the day, over the week, over the month." And the beauty is, I can also, because it goes into my second brain,
Right.
I can say, what was that woman's name I had that great conversation with when I spent time with John at Sparknify? And
Interesting.
it
And
will
you
come
can
back
search and find
it
out.
will-
Maybe
yeah.
by voice, right? You can voice search for it, and then it'll look for it for you. Interesting. That's a great product. What's it called again?
OMI, OMI. And like
OMI.
all these products, it has a lot of software application features around it. I can push it to my Google Drive. I can push all these things to different places for my second brain. But or you can just look it's on your phone. And like when I pull up on my phone, it'll have, no doubt from this conversation, it'll present me with some to-do items
I see.
that I didn't even mean to capture as to-do items, but it hears
Right.
everything.
But we don't place products. This is a real
Oh,
educational
no,
episode.
yeah, this is no.
But but the call this 800 numbers anyway. Oh no, just kidding about that.
OMI, OMI. I think it's the developer version is cheaper because it's butt ugly. I think this was a year and a half ago. It was $69. I think
Just $69.
the
Wow.
ugly. This is the ugly version. The nicer versions I think are like $149, $169.
But aren't you concerned your entire day of conversation gets sent to some developers out there who can monitor just about everything that you do throughout the
my
day?
life is not that exciting. So people who get really bent out of shape about what if it heard me flirting with some boy, then fine, call me out, report it. But it, I don't think that these, I don't think that these devices. I'm not interested in individual conversations nearly as much as I'm interested in being able to recall data, or I'm interested in either recalling data or building trends. I need a coach,
Right.
and this is the most effective, objective, never forgets, never goes to sleep coach I could get.
Yeah, this is amazing. Like we were talking about earlier, AI is now at the edge now. It's living with you, sleeping with you, eating with you. It's everywhere now. And it's being part of everyone's life. And that really elevates and upgrades everyone's quality of life in many ways.
If you
too.
choose
So
to use it as a tool.
if you choose to use it.
Now,
yeah,
if
as
you're
a tool,
afraid of it
yeah.
and you just reject it,
Yeah. Because like I said,
think you'll be
there's
left behind.
a scammers watching this episode be like, whoa, we're gonna use your digital twin on your family and try and scam money from them. That's happening though.
I see a future where I'll say it. I see a future where people sell their wisdom. You know, we have influencers now, and we can laugh, but they're half our age, and maybe it's a hat, maybe it's some kind of makeup or skin treatment, but we have, or maybe it's a location. But I think in the future we will package people because we'll say, I want to learn from John, and I look up to John, so I want to behave more like him. So if I bought a a section of code that would coach me on how would John do this, then I can learn because I appreciate his style. I like the way he handles people. Whatever that wisdom component is, I think in the future there'll be a marketplace for us to.
But there will be a
Yeah.
marketplace say, I don't want to be like John, the anti-John one, and then they can do that.
And well, but that's human nature too. I bet you, like me, we've learned more from the mistakes in life.
Sure.
Right.
Of
We've
course.
learned more of what I don't want to do. And
Right.
that is not, it's no less of learning
Right.
to learn
But
what not
don't
to
you
be.
think that human being is all about making mistakes? Anywhere from sports
Yep.
games about you watching somebody making a mistake and they lose the game, to life, it's all mistakes, and the whole process is to minimize mistakes so you can win and then achieve. But AI comes in, AI is always right. It gets the answer for you
Oh
down to
no.
straight.
Oh no. AI is not always right.
Ah, let's
You
hear
know
about
this.
that. Let's hear
Well,
about that.
but okay. Oh, I have so many thoughts. We all hear about hallucinations,
Right.
and it hallucinates it the broader, the AI universal God, small g. AI makes fewer mistakes in general than it used to because it keeps getting better and better. But it's still, I mean, I collaborate with my AI instances because I'll say, "What should I do?" And it'll say, "You should go jump off a bridge." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, hold it! Before we jump off the bridge, shouldn't we stop at the edge, take a selfie at this beautiful vista? Isn't there a better way?" And then AI always kind of backs up and says, AI backs up, and AI says, okay, you're right, because I'm training it when I do that. When I say, shouldn't we instead, then it will come back and I will see it use my wisdom in the next similar situation because I've trained it. Right. So AI is not always right, but I know so much more with AI than I ever could without it. So, like people say, you would turn over your health care to an AI, and I'm like, darn straight I would, because that's thousands of medical brains in one application.
Right.
And my doctor, bless her, but she's just one brain. I think she knows that. She went to med school. Well, she's one brain instead of thousands with
right.
all the latest research, and that's what we have to make our lives better.
That's right.
Yeah.
And looking at I drive a Tesla, and then I'll let it drive by itself.
Yeah.
And my mother actually tells me that let Tesla drive because she doesn't trust me. Because Tesla got 8 cameras. I only got two pair of eyes, and they're all looking in one direction only. So she knows that maybe it's my driving skill, but she
No.
knows that's doing a lot better job than.
We're coming to a time when I think we will be legally liable, maybe that's strong, if we don't use AI
That's a
for
very
medicine, for
interesting
driving.
forethought because people are talking about how AI may not be liable. You're
It's
talking about if you
safer.
don't use AI,
That's
then you
right.
are. Yeah,
Because
that's
it would
very
be
interesting
publicly
concept.
irresponsible. And this driving thing is
Wow.
that conversation. I was talking with a group of attorneys at the Santa Clara University Law School a couple of years ago. And everybody loves to bash on lawyers, but this was a very thoughtful. It was a panel discussion, 75 or so people in the audience, and we were talking about autonomous driving, and they had just gotten some of the earlier results in, and like one in 1,000 drives, it had taken out a mailbox, and they were, and then Joe Q Public was like, and what if that was a cyclist? What if it was a bicycle rider on the side of the road? And this audience was saying, But we have more people killed by other humans driving because they fall asleep at the wheel. They're turned in the back seat, pulling at their kid's bottle. There's 1,000 reasons people drive poorly, and even one mistake with AI doesn't compare to the dozens of mistakes that happen with humans. And what was inspiring for me, as someone who appreciates the law and who appreciates policy, is I had a group of people who were saying, have we gone too far with litigation? Have we gone too far that technology is afraid of moving forward because of the legal aspects? And how should we be thinking? Because we can't build perfection. We can't build perfection with autonomous driving, but we surely haven't built perfection with humans. Right?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And it was a bunch of lawyers seeing that point and saying, how do we start to turn the tide so better living through technology can happen without companies being afraid of being sued for a single mistake when humans make hundreds?
That's right. So if you look at the evolution cycle, human is one of the latest product in this cycle, and it's superior than all the other previous animals that it had. So somehow human developed this instinct that I'm the best. I know what I'm doing. I'm the best of the best.
Yeah.
But now you got this AI, which is the next evolution coming in. It's superior than us now. So I think you're right. That thinking need to change now in certain way from various.
How many times have you mapped something in your car and you were like, no, it's taken me the long way around. And you knew better.
Too many
You knew
times.
better than the mapping on AI, but you chose. So I think this example is very real, that we think we know best. And I think in time we're learning that that we can be even better when we have a collaborator that has more than one brain.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And what you were mentioning earlier happened to me just about every day. I missed a turn because
Right.
I was driving, and then mother would say, "Put it on AI, put it on autopilot drive. Stop driving yourself to
Absolutely.
minimize the mistakes." And so that's coming back to this entire thing as we wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Where do you see us, the society wise, this human connections wise, this world where the last product is of this evolution is running out of competition with a newer product of AI? What's the world's gonna be like in 5 years from now? Just 5 years. Are we still gonna be
rather
around?
talk
There's gonna
about
be
10.
jobs around.
I would rather talk about 10, because I think at the 5-year mark, things are going to be really rough, to be honest. I think that, the transition away from a job-based purpose to finding other purposes, we're going to be, I think, in the middle of that messy transition across societies, across
Huge
the planet.
battlefield, right?
So-
Human fighting robots,
Yeah.
maybe.
So 5 years is going to be tough, but I think at the 10-year mark, we will have come through that. We will have much different social policy changes. I think we will be more global. Now, many of us engage globally, but we don't think truly globally. We don't live with consideration for people globally because it's not in our backyard here in Willow Glen or wherever. And I think that in 10 years, we will operate much more globally because we will be hyper connected by what technology gives us. And technology will give us back, I'm hopeful, time for us to spend more time with people, because that collaboration that happens between two humans, AI agents talk to each other, but it's very transactional because they're trying to accomplish a goal. I might be talking to you about where should we go get dinner. Now, an AI could make that decision for us, but you and I would probably learn about each other in the process.
That's
You're
right.
allergic to anchovies. You're
Right,
vegetarian,
right.
whatever.
We are about the process, but then AI is about the results because it is
That's
a
right.
machine.
That's right. And I think this human interaction piece is going to be amplified over the next 10 years. So people who build